everybody. I'm Donnie from Eterneva. Just so you know, we are not only a diamond company, but we are also a grief wellness company. And especially during times like these, we think it's so important for you guys to have access to resources, information, and things that other people are doing right now that can really help out. This is a new normal for all of us. We're all definitely going through a period of grief. So I thought it'd be amazing to have Pale Hearse, the two lovely ladies from Pale Hearse, on today. They are from the death care industry. They have a wealth of knowledge in this area. Just so you guys know, for those of you who joined, this was meant to be an Instagram Live. Apparently the world everywhere is having problems. Even Instagram is having problems with their bandwidth issues. So you know us, we keep going, we roll with it, and we persevere. And so with that, this is our other option, and we still wanted to make ourselves available. So with that, I'll let you girls introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about what you do.
All right, well, hi again, everyone. I'm Allie. I'm the co-founder and creative director of Pale Hearse. I've been in the death care industry since 2014, and I'm a funeral director.
Hey guys, I'm Alex. I'm also the co-founder of Pale Hearse. I've been in the industry since about 2011. I specialize in mortuary restoration, and I'm also a mother to a 5-year-old daughter.
And at Pale Hearse, we like to focus on free and engaging education, and we work to connect families to affordable and eco-conscious end-of-life options.
We strongly believe that nobody should ever have to go in debt for burying their loved one, and we believe that an informed community can make the best decisions.
Awesome. So how have you guys, like, just to start off with personal things, because it's happening to all of us, how have you guys been adjusting to all of this?
It's been tough. As a mother, you're grieving multiple things at once. My daughter's school actually closed indefinitely. So that's kind of a loss that we're dealing with too. I have never respected teachers more now that I'm homeschooling. So there's that whole journey as well. But it's also, just staying proactive and moving forward, because there is no going back at this point. It's only moving forward.
Yeah, Alex, you're totally right. Mostly just trying to stay positive and refocus and adjust to a very new normal. It's all new territory, so we're all just kind of learning as we go.
That's been the same for me here. I don't know if you guys see, I have a little happy birthday balloon. I celebrated in solo. I also lost someone in solo. It's definitely been a difficult time. People everywhere experiencing these losses, especially people who have either lost before this or now losing people to COVID. They're having to grieve in a whole new way. We can't gather anymore. You can't really hug someone. You can't physically go to funerals. And so really, I wanted to look on the positive side on this session. It's what things can we do right now? Knowing that everything has changed. Are there some ways people can grieve, or, what would you guys recommend in that kind of area?
So a lot of things have changed, but a lot of things have also stayed the same. We always connect through phone calls, through texts, even these kind of virtual meetings, they've been around. And it's still a really great way to connect and show people who are grieving that you're there for them. Just sending that text message, having that phone call, saying, hey, I'm here. Do you want to talk with me? Do you want to grieve together? Or do you just want to spend some time with me? Those options are still there, even though we should be social distancing.
Yeah, and I think that's an opportunity to kind of rebuild what we have now, and finding those opportunities to reconnect. I know personally, I have a few people that have lost somebody that's not related to COVID, and they feel alone too, because right now the attention is on COVID. But sending them, hey, I hope you're doing okay. I'm thinking about you. Even offering to send a meal to them. Right now, there's a lot of local companies that are doing you buy a meal and they give a meal to first responders and last responders. How amazing is that? You get to help 2 people at once and let them know, hey, you don't have to worry about dinner tonight. We've got you. So there's definitely those options as well that we're starting to rethink and say, this could be a normal thing that we do from now on.
Yeah, we're all focusing on delivery services again, and that's a great way to show someone you care. Maybe send them a care package. We're all kind of indoors learning new hobbies. Maybe Send them something you've created because you've been thinking of them. You've made it with intention. Just letting people know you're still there even when you can't be close. It's just a really great way to make still feel connected and safe.
And that, even that, like, it's, I love it. Like, if there are positives right now, you do see people like banding together and helping each other, which I think is amazing. And those are some good tips. I'll be sending people some groceries. Actually, a shout out to my boss, Tracy. Like, she was like, oh, I read this really inspiring book. And I was like, oh, I'd love to borrow it at some point. She's like, I'm buying it to you, or like for you. I'm going to send it over right now. And it's just like these little, people are doing these thoughtful things. I think that I definitely see that as a positive out of this.
Yeah, it's like snail mail is making a comeback, and it's so cool to see, get excited about a postcard or something coming in the mail. It's like Christmas.
That's a perfect analogy. I love it. And you know what, and another part of this and why I think you guys are so great is that this period of time is coming with a lot of, I guess, self-reflection, hopefully, periods of grief lead to periods of deeper self-reflection, and I think a lot of the phase, a lot of us are struggling with maybe is acceptance, kind of like accepting what's happening. Yeah. So are there ways you guys kind of recommend that's kind of made it easier for you to kind of grasp this new world or grasp new reality that could help other people out?
Honestly, a lot of it is taking that time, purposeful thinking as well, and meditating on this is the reality of now, kind of reminding yourself, taking a walk outside. I have never felt more connected to my community. I walk down, the block, and everybody's just saying hello, and that gives me a sense of hope. It reminds me that we're all in this together, and that is kind of a reality check in my opinion.
Yeah, like you mentioned, that purposeful time. We kind of recommend that maybe set aside some time every day for grief. We talk about self-care, but we forget that letting yourself go through the grieving process is part of self-care. So maybe try to set aside 10, 15 minutes to reflect, meditate, think on the people you miss, and allow yourself to feel. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be happy and miss them, but it's also okay to be upset with them. Relationships are complicated, and feeling those things, they're good for you. So we know grief can come whenever it wants, 3 a.m., 3 p.m., but setting aside some time to actually purpose and intention can really help ease some of that stress of grief right now.
Yeah, even separating some time away from like social media and distractions, and really just absorbing the minutes that we're having right now. This is a great opportunity to actually have dinner with your family without a time frame of rushing to the next task. So it's really absorbing what we're dealing with now and applying, what can we do? How can we do better? What are we going to learn from this?
Because there's no going back, there's only moving forward.
I think I love that kind of sentiment. It's so funny. I'm reading, everyone's like, I can't wait when things get back to, and I'm like, back to what? Like, you know? But I also understand that mind frame, change is a really difficult thing to grasp. So I can definitely understand that kind of rhetoric. But also, this is really, I think, a lot of people have been asking questions and kind of looking for resources around the death care space. Death care is obviously very much affected by what's going on right now. Like funerals rely on people gathering in person, on events, even from the way you treat bodies or for everyone that's being cremated. There's a lot of changes and a lot of things to grasp that have kind of happened overnight. And it's both shocking for the griever and people experiencing loss, as well as the industry itself. So for people who are still looking for those resources, even though it's quickly changing, what is something they can do, or what is a way around like a really difficult conversation like this, with the industry changing so fast?
Yeah, I mean, we're all learning. This is very new for all of us. We're familiar with, Ebola and other, high risk cases that we're used to dealing with, but this has kind of been a new way of dealing with death. that we're having to learn and grow and experience together. It's been interesting to see how, a couple years ago, there was a funeral home who was doing drive-through services. I mean, you could drive your car through and they had, the service, the chapel. I mean, it was a drive-through. And so many people scoffed at it and were like, oh, that's so inappropriate. That is just not okay. And now I believe, Allie, you have a great story of a funeral home that's kind of taking that initiative to find these solutions to help families still be involved in their funeral.
Yeah, I wish I could remember the funeral home, but what they did was that they set up the family in chairs, each 6 feet apart, and then 6 feet in front of them were some traffic cones, and they allowed their family and friends to come in through their cars, and every 6 feet they could lower the window and speak to the person. And like Alex said, it looked really silly maybe 3 weeks ago, but today it's innovative and it's new and it works. And it really helped those families feel supported. And if I remember the story correctly, the idea was kind of on a whim. It was like the day before or maybe 2 days before, and they said, hey, we're going to try it. Maybe someone will come. And they had a really lovely turnout. So we're learning as we go, but we have to be willing to try these things that maybe looked silly 3 weeks ago, but are totally part of our new world now.
And I think it also kind of forces a lot of these antiquated funeral homes to kind of get with it and say, hey, we need to offer virtual options because we don't know when these things are going to happen again. So now is the time to learn this technology, to figure out how to apply it, because we're also learning. We're not used to telling families, you can't be here for a service, or only a certain amount of people can be here at a time. That is very hard on us as well. And that's something that we're having to, grieve as well because things are changing. But how do we do better? And that's kind of the question that we keep asking is, what are we going to learn from this? We're not going to reinvent the wheel, but we're going to learn from what we've done in the past, what we have to do now, and what innovation we can bring to the future to be better prepared so that we can all stay connected, so that we can all grieve together, so that we can continue to help the families in need.
I think that is honestly like such an amazing perspective, because it's really this is a moment actually maybe that could push us forward then, and of course it's like challenging right now, but I love that idea of like maybe even with something becoming virtual, it becomes more accessible, maybe. And it's funny, I've been thinking about this a little bit more too, but there are people before maybe that couldn't afford to gather or were disabled, or there's so many things, you're right, that were maybe antiquated and didn't allow as much access, but maybe we're thinking about it now, where it's like, can we actually include everybody in this, even if we can't, touch or something?
Exactly. How many people, live out of the country or are just, elderly and can't drive anymore? So now it's almost like we're actually including them in these services, which I think, as many have said before, that's what you want to focus on. During times of tragedy, look for the helpers, because there always is someone helping. And that's our goal, is to be the helpers and figure out solutions so that we can continue to help.
Yeah, I might have the wrong term. Geotagging. That's kind of been a new thing. You're geotagging special places, or maybe even a cemetery where somebody is buried. And now people all over can grieve at a place they may never see. They get to actually be a part of it, even though they're indoors or, again, social distancing, but they're still able to connect because technology is still there and still innovating new ideas for death care.
Oh my God. You guys are getting me excited just like thinking, because the sentiment now it is like, how are we thinking about everybody? And it sounds like exactly what you guys stand for, your mission of making it accessible and affordable, and actually, so this can be a really exciting time. I guess what I would want to know, and what we would all want to know, is what are things that we could do, whether it's from a consumer standpoint or even from the industry standpoint, seeing that maybe this is going to be the future of it. How can we push it forward right now? Like, what are some things that we can do to to evolve? If that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. I think one of the first things to start is we all have to be understanding of the times, and we all have to start learning to be flexible. I think it's time that we start re-examining things that, we had kind of pushed aside, like aquamation. This might be an option to introduce aquamation and make it where it is available nationwide, because that could open more retorts to help handle the mass crisis that we're dealing with now. So what a great opportunity to apply that. It's more eco-friendly. It's a good opportunity for us as normal everyday individuals to read about these things, to learn about these things, to ask questions, because most people in the funeral industry, in the death care industry, we are open books. We want to give you the information. We want to help you. Do not be afraid to ask. Another thing, in my opinion, is checking in on your local providers, making sure that they have what they need to be able to help the families, making sure that they're stocked with PPE, making sure that they have meals to eat, coffee to drink, and just making sure that we're checking on them. Allie, I'm sure you have other ideas too.
Yeah, mostly just that. If you think you can help or that you have resources, reach out to anybody, because everybody's in need right now and we just don't always know. But if you want to support your death care, first line, last responders, everybody like that, call and check. Do you have what you need? I happen to have maybe just a few gloves, but I can give them to you. I can have them sent. So it's just about being conscious that we're all still a very connected community and earth. So why not reach out and offer the help, because we all need it.
Yeah. And a simple text, a simple hello, we're thinking about you, we're standing behind you. Anything like that, you don't have, it doesn't have to necessarily be monetary. It can be, you know, as simple as leaving a written nice message on your driveway in chalk that lets your neighbors know, hey, if you need anything, I'm here for you. You know, Nextdoor is a great app as well to utilize. I mean, there's so many different ways that we as a community can stand together, learn more, and continue moving forward.
Oh my God, that's amazing. You guys actually reminded me of an uplifting story this week of a girl who had just finished chemo. I think this story came out like last week, and they were supposed to have this, you know, big welcome home party, but of course everyone's social distancing. And so she was driving home through her neighborhood and everybody was out in their own cars and they still had balloons and everything. And I was like, oh my God, you can still show up for people. Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
All that too. And I watched it 3 times and cried because it was so cool and so touching. And I really needed it. I really needed to know that people were still out there and still really cared, because yeah, we're all isolated. Sometimes I don't know what's going on with my neighbors, but to see that people are still showing up, oh God, my heart. I'm gonna cry now. I'm gonna cry now.
I know.
And that goes for our grocery workers too. It's like every time that we're like out, it's just, you know, it's so nice to just tell them, thank you. Thank you for being here, because I really needed to get water.
And I mean, this is honestly, it's kind of been a blessing, because I feel like there are so many of these industries that are being highlighted right now went unnoticed for so long. And I mean, we shouldn't have waited until today to be like, you guys are absolutely like essential, amazing people. But it has been nice to remember, you know, our priorities and our humanity essentially. So if that helps you guys accept, think about the others too.
Yes.
Amazing. Well, is there anywhere else that you would want people to go for resources? I mean, of course, just so everyone knows, you can always reach out directly to us at Eterneva, these ladies at Pale Hearse, DM us, ask questions. We want to be open books. Is there any other place you would recommend people get their information right now?
There's a couple of different places. I know that the Modern Mortician on social media is constantly, you know, updating on COVID, and that's been really helpful. I know the Funeral Consumer Alliance is also a great resource to have. There is also obviously the World Health Organization that is keeping everyone updated, and the CDC, so definitely follow those guidelines. But again, I mean, there are so many different resources. New Narrative just came up with a great resource, and we're looking forward to reconnecting and being able to share that too. There are resources. Just reach out and we will get you those resources, or we will find someone who can help you.
Most definitely. Just reach out. We're always here. But to be honest, Instagram is a really great way to find other death care providers and advocates. Even if you just do the tag death care, things will show up, and we're all a really big open community. So if you're just not sure where to turn, or you don't have a specific name, check Instagram. We're actually all there.
Awesome. Well, Thank you so much, ladies. Talk about being flexible. You know, the world's burning outside, Instagram crashes, and we still want to be available. And this is the human spirit. So I'm just so grateful right now. I will be posting this on Instagram. We will also post this on our blog, anywhere. And please feel free to reach out to us directly. And I would love to keep doing these sessions. Hopefully one day the internet will work better. But you know, we're all going with the flow. So thank you so much. This has been really beneficial. So I really appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we love being a part of it. We love talking about it. So just, we'll see you soon, and we'll try on Instagram when we can.
Okay, awesome. Bye, everybody.
Bye.